Design. Making attractive and readable resumes. There are many ways to make the resume more attractive and readable. The following are a few key areas to focus on when advising on resume layout. Within each section, it is important to keep the following in mind: readability, font and size, visual interest, craft principles of design, suitability for industry, your personality. Designing the letterhead. If you haven't already done so, consider developing your own letterhead that includes your name and contact information. It is the part of your resume where you can most easily express your creativity, and it can be used for all your professional documents: your resume, cover letter, reference page, thank you letter, etc. When designing your letterhead, consider font. Are you using your word processor's default font or something that might stand out better to your employer? What impression might these options give? Size. Your name is like your brand. Does it stand out on the page? Visual interest. How have you laid out your information? Is it attractive and readable? Your personality. Do you like your letterhead? Does it adequately reflect you? Note: we recommend providing your name on the second page of your resume as well as using the same font and style. However, it is not necessary to include all your contact information. Designing your headings. After the letterhead, the headings are what employers will notice first. The key is to make your headings stand out, while still having them fit with the entire document. When designing your headings, consider repetition. Are you using the same heading style throughout your document? Contrast. How do your headings stand out from the rest of your text? Example: font, size, style, alignment, etc. Readability. Is it easy to recognize when a new section begins? Is it easy for the employer to find a section? Your personality. Do you like your choice of heading style? Does it adequately reflect you? Note: according to design conventions, it's best not to use more than 3 different fonts per page. Using more than 3 generally impairs readability and attractiveness. When selecting multiple fonts, be sure they are legible and complement one another. CRAP Principles on Design. The acronym CRAP represents 4 design principles that, when applied to the layout of your work search documents, will help them stand out from those of your competition. These design principles are contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. Contrast. Contrast is the most important visual attraction on the page. Apply this principle by formatting the different kinds of information in your document differently. For example, make your resume headings look different than your bulleted statements. Furthermore, when you choose to contrast the format of one element against another, make it very different. Subtle differences often end up looking like mistakes. Think about matching wall paint. You don't want something that's sort of robin's egg blue. You want the exact same color. So unless it's exactly the same, be bold with your contrast. Create contrast through line thickness, colors, sizes, spacing, etc. Repetition. Repetition is an amplified form of consistency. Apply this principle by repeating visual elements throughout your document. You can repeat fonts, shapes, special relationships, etc. Using repetition effectively strengthens the unity of your document and creates visual interest. That said, avoid repeating elements so much that it becomes overwhelming. Alignment. Alignment describes the placement of elements on the page and affects the way your eyes move as you read or skim. Apply this principle by ensuring that every element of your document has some visual connection with another element on your page. Nothing should be placed arbitrarily. Use only 3 to 5 vertical alignments using tabs or columns. This will help you create a clean and sophisticated look and allow your employer's eyes to move more comfortably across the page. Proximity. Proximity describes the groupings of content in your document. Apply this principle by placing items of content that are meaningful related in close proximity. Place unrelated items further away from each other. The closeness or lack of closeness of 2 pieces of content indicates the relationship. When several intellectually connected items are grouped together, they become one visual unit and help organize information and reduce clutter. Designing your bulleted statements. Bulleted statements are the sentences and phrases that are written to entice an employer to invite you to an interview. They are meant to serve as strong impact statements to demonstrate your key skills and abilities. They can be presented in a visually interesting way, but readability is critical. When designing your bulleted statements, consider font. Are you using your word processor's default font, or are you using something that might stand out better to the employer? Be sure to select something that is easy to read. Size. Is your text big enough for someone with sore and tired eyes to pick out the details they need? Suitability. Given the nature of the employer or the industry, is your font choice appropriate? The more progressive the employer and the more creative the industry, the more artistic you can be with your document. Alignment. Are the beginning and the end of the bulleted statements aligned? The statements don't have to be the same length, but the margin should be consistent. Your personality. Do you like the look of your bulleted statements? Does this adequately reflect you? Using other design elements. Your word processor provides many tools to help you improve the look and readability of your resume. When selecting various design elements, consider available options. Have you explored the tools accessible to you through your word processor? Example, borders, shading, tables, colors, etc. Suitability. Have you used the tools appropriately? The goal is to make your document attractive and easy to read, not simply to use the tools. If not used strategically, you may risk making your document cluttered. The extent of the design components included should be suitable for the style of the organization to which you are applying. Your personality. Are you happy with the visual look of your resume? Experiment, get feedback, and figure out what works for you. Repetition. The element should follow a consistent style that creates flow in the document. The different components and sections should work well together and be complementary to one another.